anymore, and she has lost her respect, and she has lost her esteem, and she has lost her status. Okay, verse 19. Verse 19. Tamar put ashes on her head and tore the ornate robe she was wearing. She put her hands on her head and went away, weeping aloud as she went. Ashes on the head, a person that put ashes on their head was a sign of deep mourning for the dead.
Right.
So she was putting the ashes on her head, and she tore her dress or her robe. So actually, she was mourning her own death, because everything that was important to her was gone because her brother raped her. She mourned her own death. She could not marry. She was an outcast through no fault of her own. Verse 20. Verse 20. Her brother Absalom said to her, so she's crying, she's wailing, she's got ashes on her head, her robe is torn, and she's put out of the room. She's put out of the room. And her brother, Absalom, now remember Absalom, she and Absalom have the same father and mother, okay? So Absalom said to her, has that Amnon been with you? Be quiet. Just be quiet for him, my sister. He is your brother. Don't take this thing to heart. And Tamar lived in her brother Absalom's house, a desolate woman. Yeah. Okay, stick a pin here. This that happened with Amnon and Tamar and Absalom over 3,000 years ago, it happens today.
Yeah.
Just be quiet. Don't say anything. What happens in this house stays in this house.
Right.
And the victim suffers. The perpetrator, the sex offender, goes on, and the victim suffers. So this is what Tamar did not know, because the Bible says that she lived in Absalom's house. Absalom did that thing to help her. He said, okay, you can come live with me. And that was the end of it. The Bible says that she lived the rest of her life a desolate woman, a shameful woman is what that means.
That's right.
What Tamar did not know was what her dad, King David, had cried out to God in Psalm 118 and 5. He said, in my anguish, I cried to the Lord, and he answered by setting me free. Mm-hmm. Tamar did not know that even though she had been raped, there's Jeremiah 29 and 11.
Yeah.
He still had plans for her. He still had plans for her. He had plans to prosper her, yes, and to give her hope, yes, and a future.
Yes.
The rape did not have to take that away. Her condition, I think Pastor Sappho told Bishop Skinner that her condition was not her conclusion. Right. It didn't have to be.
That's right.
It didn't have to be the end of her life. She didn't know that there was nothing too hard for God. Yes, that was awful. That was awful. And I feel the intensity from you that this was an awful crime, mm-hmm, that happened against Tamar.
Yes.
But it did not have to be over. This is what happened to her. But for us, it doesn't have to end that way. One brother raped her. Another brother tells her not to talk about it. She's in Absalom's house. Everybody goes on with their lives except Tamar. So this lets us know that even today, there are women that are living desolate lives because of sexual abuse. They may not be living in a house with their brother, but they may be living out in prostitution.
Yeah.
In the strip club.
Yep.
In the homeless shelter.
That's right.
On crack cocaine.
Yeah.
alcoholism, drug addiction,
Yes.
people pleasing.
Wow. Name them.
They hide out. We can hide out, and nobody will know. So I